Hello, everyone. My name is Eli Smith. I'm currently on a journey to all four corners of America, raising awareness for veterans with PTSD and veteran suicide. And I'm happy to be here on this podcast and coming to you from Indian Springs, Nevada. Great guy, great family, and happy to be here to do this.
Yeah, thanks for coming here, Eli. So welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Just Fun Stuff. And we would like to ask you some questions.
Absolutely.
So actually, I have a really big question. So, like, you walk those and you're on a bike too, right?
Yes. Yeah, I started walking November 22nd, 2016. I started from Pensacola, Florida, and walked all the way to the first corner, which was the Mexican border and San Diego, the ocean right there. And then after that, went north all the way to a place, the northwesternmost corner up in Washington. And that took about a year. And I can't remember the exact mileage, but it was close to 6,000 miles after that. From that point, I went to Seattle, and I think it was like late October, so I didn't want to continue and go through the Rocky Mountains in the wintertime. And flew back to Ohio, where I'm from, stayed the winter there. And during the winter, just from all that walking and things, my knees and feet were going bad. And I'm 40 years old right now. And at the time after I finished that, I was 37. And I was just like, I'm getting too old for this. So decided to switch to a bicycle and put my gear on that. But instead of going the original route of walking, I decided to add about 6,000 more miles to the route. So same timeline as walking, but I was able to go to a lot more cities to raise more awareness and help more veterans. And it's been a crazy time. I launched from Vegas with the bicycle and came up through here and met you all on my way, and went all the way back up to where I left off walking, and then turned around, went down through Idaho, Salt Lake City, out through Colorado, zigzag everywhere back and forth. Got back to Ohio again in October, so stopped for the winter. Next spring, got out, went up to Maine, hit a lighthouse, came back down, and unfortunately, when I got to DC, involved in a hit and run accident. Someone hit me with a car. That took me out, sent me to the hospital, ended up with a broken foot and everything. So I thought it would be a little bit of time, but the recovery and everything was a little longer than I thought. I didn't know at the time I had a broken foot. So I was like, they told me it was just sprained. And so went back to the VA. It's like, my foot hurts a little bit. And they found out it was actually broken. So I had to be in a boot for a few months. And by that time, the winter was coming around. So I was like, do it next spring. Well, we all know what happened this year in 2020. So had to wait around for all this to die down. But next spring, getting back to it, I'm going to leave right from where that guy hit me, and go down to Key West. And I'm actually going to end on Memorial Day next year. So I thought that was fitting, and looking forward to it. But I needed to get out, come visit some great people, and
thank you.
Came out to Vegas, and it's been great.
Yeah, thanks.
So, like, I was gonna ask you, like, between cities, when you're in the middle of, like, the desert and stuff like that, like, what did you eat, or did you, like, pack food or stuff like that?
Well, I was never a walker or hiker before any of this. I wasn't well-to-do, and I literally sold everything I had to get this started. Flew down to Pensacola, and there's no joke. I came out of the airport, kind of like packed my bag. It's like, man, this bag's a little heavy. Didn't think this through. And the first day or the next day, I sent 21 pounds home, mailed it back. I was like, don't need all this stuff. And I got out of the airport and was like, I think San Diego's that way. Let's just start walking. And Yeah, no. I mean, I had a couple towns I knew I was going to go through, but I was very inexperienced. And Snickers bars are actually, when you're walking, is one of the best things you can eat. I mean, because the Cliff bars and the other healthy, more expensive Power Bar, things like that, those get expensive.
Yeah.
But you're burning so many calories that actually a Snickers bar is good for you when you're walking that much. So I did a lot of Snickers bars, a lot of peanut butter, and I had a lot of those dehydrated Mountain House meals, like from Walmart in the camping section.
Yeah.
Those are the cheapest, and actually those are the best tasting. I've tried all different kinds. Best chicken and rice Mountain House. I'd eat that right now. It's so good. So good. And yeah, a lot cheaper and, you know, very light.
Yeah.
So I eat a lot of that. I didn't have like outside help. I didn't have coordinators at the time or anything like that. So the money I had from selling everything, like that went quick because, you know, I didn't know, like I could, like, hey, could you throw me a burger, please? I wasn't used to that type of talking, you know. It's like, I want something to eat, I got to pay for it. And then I met a couple ladies that would ask me, like, how are you doing this? Like, I'm just walking. I didn't know, like, understand the question. I was like, I just walk to the next town.
Yeah.
You know, stay on the right side of the road. Mind your business. And they're like, no, how are you, like, finding places to stay and eat and stuff? It's like, no, I just make a phone call. When are you making these phone calls? At night or something? I was like, no, like during the day when I'm walking. Well, these ladies did not like that. They didn't like, I'm on the side of the road on my phone and everything. They said, we can help you out. You know, I can call places ahead of towns and see. I was like, oh, that would be great. Yeah. I was like blown away by that. Little did I know they were little wizards about it. I had trouble like finding places to stay because I couldn't stay on the street in a big city. Like I needed to find someone with a house or a hotel room. Yeah. I remember they're like, well, send us your dates and towns that are coming up and we'll see what we can do. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I wasn't expecting much. Like 30 minutes later, this lady calls me back. She's like, hey, we got the next 5 towns set up for you hotels.
Oh, nice.
I was like, what do you... I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be expensive. And she's like, no, they're donating the rooms. I was like, you serious? I was like, oh, that's amazing. Thanks. Like, wow. And then she let the other lady know where I was staying. So she'd just look up on Google Maps. She's like, hey, there's this guy. He's coming, doing veterans awareness. Great cause, great mission. Can you throw him a sandwich? Can you throw him some chicken fingers, something like that? Like, absolutely, no problem. So she's calling me. She's like, hey, you're going to blah, blah, blah restaurant and talk to this manager. Yeah. And I remember the first time, it's like, this is weird. So like, walk in this restaurant and, you know, I got to say like, I'm Eli Smith. I'm here to see blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, you know, Dave here. And I'm like, oh yeah, come on, we got a table for you. Like, order whatever you want. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Yeah. So I ate when I was walking, still ate a lot of the Mountain House and Snickers, but when I was in towns, like these ladies and these people all over the country, they're really supportive of the journey, and they just give me some food. There was a time, I think it was near Yuma, where I knew there were no towns for like days. And I knew I couldn't carry enough food and water on my backpack. So I actually switched to a dog cart, like what people push their like big dogs in. And I remember I could carry so much more. It wasn't, my back was free, my feet and legs. I mean, I'm barely, it's flat. So I just got to take like 2 little fingers. I could push this cart down the road. I was able to carry a cooler. I had cold drinks. I was able to carry cans of food. I had like Chef Boyardee on the side of the road. I was, this is it. I'm living like a king. I had a little tiny small chair I could sit on. It was great. So, but as time went on and then I switched to the bicycle, The coordinator just got better at what they did, and I put things into a Google Calendar. It's like, hey, I'm going here, be in this town. One lady sets up the news interviews, one does the hotels, one does the food, and then I'll say like, hey, I need to go to this VFW, I need to go to like this veterans home to like meet the World War II vets, go to this American Legion, or I have a meeting with the town council to see if they can adopt a veteran suicide awareness proclamation and things like that. So they'll fit it all in. So it's much less stress now than it was when I first started. I'm just some dude walking down the road. Like, I hope I'm going in the right direction. Sun's setting that way. Like sailors did back in the day. Oh, there's the North Star. So I guess what I was doing. But yeah, now it's. I've been fortunate enough to eat a lot of great food, a lot of bad food, a lot of interesting food. Some food I probably shouldn't have ate, but it's good now. It was really rough in the beginning, but yeah, I'm happy with it.
And like sleeping wise though, like if you're like, for example, like in the middle of the desert, like here, like you go to sleep just in the desert, just set up tent, or
there was plenty of times I just slept right off the side of the road. I would try to find, especially like out here, and a lot of like West Texas kind of looks the same, but they kind of have bigger vegetation out there. I would try to find like a half circle of bushes or something where I could set down so no one would see me.
Okay.
I got fortunate enough, there were some that were bigger. I could actually set up my little tent, and I'd go out to the road and look like, okay, I'd go down the road and look. No one can see me, so I'd sleep there. By train tracks. There was one time, I can't remember exactly where it was. I was so tired that day. It was all day walking. I just went off the side of the road and just put my sleeping bag down. Then just thought like, well, I hope some snakes don't crawl in my sleeping bag. And I was out, and like the sun woke me up the next morning, and there was like water droplets on my sleeping bag from the morning. And I just dried out my sleeping bag. The sun was hitting it, dried out, packed up, kept walking. So, I didn't like to do that, but there were some times. But in the beginning, I'd get into a town, I didn't feel safe, just sleeping in a back alley or something. I had to go look for an American flag. I'd knock on their door, and they'd open the door, look at me kind of weird, and I said, hey, I had a little card, I gave it to them, kind of, was very submissive in my body language, and I said, this is what I'm doing. I just want to set up my tent in your yard. I'll be out in the morning. Did that about 8 times, I think, 8 to 10 times. There was only one person that said, yes, you can set up the tent in our yard. Everyone else, they're like, no, you don't need to do that. You can come on in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? You've known me for 30 seconds. Like, you're just going to let me... Everyone, except the only ones that didn't, they were like in their 80s, old.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was actually the first time I did it.
Yeah.
And they were just like, yeah, you can sleep outside. That's fine. And they brought me like chicken fingers or something. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But no, they're like, come on in. It's funny. One of them was like, hey, we're having spaghetti tonight. You like spaghetti? Here's my kids, and we're gonna play Monopoly and stuff. I'm like, oh okay. Then I'm thinking like, should I be worried? Like, this is a little much. But no, it was great, and that's one thing I've definitely learned going all across this country. All different backgrounds, all different races, religions, political views, sexual orientation. 99.9% of everyone in this country is good people. It is unfortunate that 0.1% is broadcast on every TV screen and cell phone that you see.
Yeah.
That's not the way
Mm-mm.
this country is, and the people that's in it. And I'm great friends with total opposite. They have total opposite political views of me, but that's not what we talk about. We have too many other awesome things to talk about and do. then they'll be like, well, Trump this, or Biden this, or Hillary this, or blah, 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 Nancy Pelosi, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. It's like, man, you made a really good steak tonight, man. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Just regular stuff, and a lot of just too many great people out there, and that needs to be shown a lot more on the screens for sure.
Yeah, I remember when we met you. Remember over there, and
I'm sitting outside this bar in this little wooden trailer, and you're like, "Hey, man!" I'm like, "Hey." It's like, this guy looks like excited to see me. I don't know who this guy is. He's like, "Yeah, they just told us about you inside," and I could tell like the look on your face. You wanted to help, but you didn't know how to put that into words, like what question do I need to, and so you're looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm doing, and like, you okay? You need anything? I was like, no, and then you said, I think you said like, well, you can like come to our house for dinner like tomorrow night or something, probably thinking like, this guy's eating every meal at this place. He needs something different. Because at the time that was the only place to eat here.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure. So came over here, had a great meal, met your family, did some laundry, and and really good time. I think I came over twice or 2 or 3 times.
Something like that.
Yeah, while I was here. And it's been 3 years since I've seen you. And it's coming out here to Vegas. Say, hey, man, got to meet up, coming out.
Definitely,
like, absolutely.
Anytime. Like I told you, this is your house. You can come anytime.
It's just like I was here the other day. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, we were driving up here. It's like, oh, that's where I stopped for lunch there. And, I turned off there to take a break. Here's the cinder factory up here. Isn't that weird looking? And I've always wondered what they do out there. Look how far away that is. And it's, it was crazy coming up here. Like, man. The other 2 buildings are new over there, but other than that, it's like, I know where I'm at. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's been, we were thinking, I was like, because when we saw you, remember you told us the story about the fox, remember?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, dang fox. I'm out in the redwoods. Somewhere I think the town was called Redwood City or something. It was very small. I'm walking into this town, and I remember going into it. There was like this old creepy abandoned school building. I'm like, oh, pretty creepy. Walk in the town, supposed to stay at this fire station. So I get into the fire station, and I'm like, hey, I'm here. They're like, oh yeah. You can have this room. There's a room with a bed and everything. So I have my backpack. I'm pulling everything out. Then there's a phone call. The phone rings, and you hear this guy just like, It's like, oh, he's already here. Okay. So he comes in, and his head's hung low. He's like, hey, that was the chief, and he really didn't know about it. So I'm sorry you can't stay here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I already got all my stuff out. I'm all settled in, man. You guys got to put up with me for a night. And he kind of laughed. And he was like, nah, you can't stay here. I was like, okay, well, I'll go set up my hammock out in the back. Like you have like a lean-to porch thing, 2 metal poles. I'll just do that. He's like, you can't stay on the property. I was like, there's no other place to stay. Like, there's no backup plan for this small town. He's like, no, I'm sorry. It's like, oh my gosh. I said, hey, there's an abandoned elementary school up the road. He's like, yeah. And he's looking at me like, what? Like, yeah, I know about that school. I was like, that's where I'm going to stay tonight, in the back. He's like, okay. He's like, so if you hear anyone like calling in, I was like, that's just me. Like, all right. So I'm like, ugh. So I go to this school, set up my hammock at the time, sitting down there, like blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden I hear like, these kids. And I'm like, oh man, these kids, these like little kids, they're out there probably like busting windows or, screwing around. And I'm like, oh man, they're going to see me. And they've probably been here a million times. I'm going to freak them out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do? So they're on the little razor scooters, and they were a good like 40, 50 yards away, but they came around the corner and they stopped dead in their tracks. And I'm looking at them and they're looking at me. I'm not moving. They're not moving. And one of the kids like yells, they go, "You scared us, mister." And I said, "Scared you?" I go, "You guys scared me." And they kind of giggled and they were like, what are you doing out here, mister? You okay? And I said, I told them what I'm doing. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, I've already walked like one leg and coming up through California now. And I think they could tell because I didn't have like dirty gear and stuff. Like it was, I think there was like a new hammock and everything. Yeah. So they kind of got closer, like a wild animal. And I was like, so I was like, showing them pictures of things, and they were like, oh, like, as little kids, they're like, oh, this guy's legit. He's not, this is too unique to be stranger danger here. So we start talking, telling them stories about things. And all of a sudden, they want me to like learn tricks on the razor scooters. And I'm like, oh, I'm too old for that. They're like, no, you can do it. Like, watch me. And he does this like flip thing, spin like that. They're like, well, just try this. So I'm on these little kids' razor scooters, like trying to do these stupid tricks, and they're laughing at me and everything. And they were maybe there for like half an hour, 45 minutes. And I remember I had those cards that I'd give to people. So I pulled out a card and I gave them to each of the kids. And I said, listen to me, children. This is extremely important. You need to give these cards to your parents first. Let them look at the card. Let them read the card. Then you can tell them you met me behind the abandoned elementary school. Because if you go to your parents and say, hey, we just met this guy behind the school, it's not going to end up well for me. It's like, so please. So there's actually one of those kids I still talk to on Instagram. So that night, it's pitch black dark out there. I remember I was like playing a game on my phone or something, and I'm about to go to bed. Then all of a sudden, I just hear this noise. And it is a blood-curdling noise. Sounds like someone's screaming, dying. I've never heard this noise before in my life. And my heart just starts thumping. And I've just been looking at my phone. So I'm like, I put it down, I can't see anything. Yeah. And even without that, like if you close your eyes, open your eyes, you don't know if your eyes are closed or open. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And here's this noise again, and it's getting closer. I'm like, I'm like fumbling around, get my headlamp on. I turn my headlamp, and I'm like looking through this. This place has been gone for a while. So like there's rusty swing sets. There's tall weeds growing through the concrete. A little like poorly done graffiti on a wall over here. Just like Walking Dead scenario written all over it. So I'm looking around, and I don't see anything. The sound happens again, and it's like 20 yards in front of me. Oh, I'm like, oh, here we go. Like this, I'm dead. I was like, there's some old man at a fire station and 3 kids that know where I'm at. That's it. So I'm looking, and I turn my light, and there's this like little fox, and I'm like, well, that's not it at all. So I'm like looking around, and this is the most frightening moment up in my life. Like I don't know what the sound is. The sound is so scary. I'm all alone. This thing is getting closer. I don't know where it is. So I'm looking again, see the fox. Fox makes this noise. Disbelief. I'm looking at this. My whole demeanor, attitude changes. Now I'm pissed. I'm looking at this fox. Like, are you kidding me? You little fox, not even a full-grown fox, little fox, has scared me, a grown man, more than I've ever been scared before in my entire life. So I'm like, get out of here, fox. and it's not leaving. So I'm like throwing sticks at it. I'm like, get out of here, you stupid fox, get out of here. And it like runs down the hill. It's like, oh my God, it's like heart's just thumping. So I go to sleep, and this fox decides to get his little revenge on me. 3 a.m, comes right by my hammock. I startled so much, I flip out of my hammock onto the ground. So now half my face is smushed in the dirt, and my headlamp's on, and like I'm yelling. As I'm yelling, like the dirt's puffing up from the ground, cussing out this fox, and yeah, and it disappeared. So never saw that fox again. But man, that by far was the worst I've ever. I think I actually can play a. I'll be able to play you the sound. Now, what you're about to hear is the sound. It's a fox mating call.
Okay.
What you're going to hear is this fox, but it is off in the distance, and it's kind of like echoing. Imagine what you're about to hear, clear as day, right by you, loud enough to where you want to cover your ears. So here we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, do it.
Yeah, sounds like a woman. I'm getting look at that, goosebumps just hearing that thing again. So, I mean, and super loud.
Yeah.
And right by you, none of the you could hear like the echo on that. No, oh my gosh. So, yeah. So next question. So that was crazy.
So, I remember you telling me that you almost got kidnapped one time.
Oh boy. Yeah. It's quite a long story. I'll give you the condensed version. Walking out in Texas. Yeah, this is someone tried to kidnap me in Texas. And on this road, going to this next town, and not too much traffic. All of a sudden, this truck pulls up. You're like, hey, how you doing? He's like, oh, good, and you? And like, oh, what are you doing out here? I got that question all the time. It's like, oh, I'm doing this for veterans, blah, blah, blah. Going on, like, oh, that's great. And they're like, you got a place to stay? And it's like, yeah, it's all taken care of, everything. I'm like, well, you can come stay with me. It's no problem. It's like, no, I'm good. I got all this stuff. They're like, okay. And they give me their name and number. And I'm like, okay, here's my card, whatever. And they asked again, like, hey, hop in the truck, get you right into town. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm like, okay. So, walk on down. 20 minutes later, I hear that slow rubber gravel roll. And that's weird. Turn around, like, whoa, this is the same person. And I'm like, yeah. They pull up next to me. I'm like in the road. They're like way off the road, pulling up right next to me. And right away, they're like, hey, Eli, you need to get in the truck. Get in the truck. Granted, this is 20 minutes later. I've contacted my church, and we're having a dinner for you tonight, and the news crews are coming. And right there, I knew. I've done TV interviews. You cannot get a TV interview together in 20 minutes, nor can any country or any church in this country get a dinner together in 20 minutes. Red flags going off. Like, yeah, you need to get in the truck. Get in the truck. Just get in the truck. These people are coming. You get in the truck. And granted, the nearest news crew is like 3 hours away. It's like, this is bad. Stranger danger going off. Man, I'm really starting to freak out. Like, this is really bad. They're going on and on. Get in the truck. Go ahead. Just come on. I don't know what your problem is. Like, you need to do this. It's like, look, I've already got stuff to do. I can't do that. I'm sorry. Yeah, you got to call them and say, you didn't ask me about any of this and stuff. I got other plans. What do you got to do? It's like, that's really none of your business. I got things I have to do. And, excuse me. So they keep arguing. All of a sudden, like, there's a vehicle coming the other way. And I'm like, hey, I didn't know who it was, just a vehicle. I'm thinking, okay, I'm hopping in with them and getting away from it. So I pull over, and lo and behold, in the middle of nowhere, the truck, the man in the truck was the gentleman I stayed at the previous night. Real old timer cowboy dude. I mean, he had to be 80 some years old. And I couldn't believe it. So I walked over. He kind of stopped about 20 feet from in front of that car, but on the opposite side of the road. So I walked diagonally over the road. I'm like, oh my gosh. And he could see the look on my face. He's like, what is going on? I was like, this crazy person, they won't leave me alone. They're trying to get me in the truck, all this stuff. And he's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. I was like, I can't carry a gun or anything like that, going through too many state lines, stuff like that. And he's like, oh, wow. He's like, all of a sudden, I turn around. This person is standing in the middle of the road. Hands down, kind of leaning back a little bit. And all of a sudden, they just raise up one finger and they point at the old man. And they say, I know you. I bought hay off of you 3 years ago. Just like that. Right, 2 minutes before, she's like, hey, Eli, get in the truck. Yeah. This guy, this old timer, he's like, look, he ain't getting in the truck. Leave him alone. Get on out of here. He's about to kill this person. And they're like, oh, okay. And they leave. And he's like, you gonna be all right? I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. He's like, you want to ride in town? I was like, nah, I'm good. Keep going. 15 minutes later, I'm not even a mile more down the road. Like, man, someone's hauling it down this road. And, I kind of just get over. Here they are again, white pickup truck. Third time, they zoom by me. They almost hit me. Oh, wow. Do this power slide off the road. And basically they're horizontal or not parallel, perpendicular to me. They T-bone me in this. And I'm like, oh no. Screaming right from the get-go. I mean, you would think this person is losing their entire family in a house fire type screaming. Get in the truck! Get in the truck! That's the 3 words. Or, wait, get in the 4 words. They were saying it so fast, it sounded like 2. Over and over and over and over and over and over again. Repeat. Get in the truck! Get in the truck! Get in the truck! Get in the truck! Red in the face, veins popping out. I don't even know what to compare it to. So now I'm upset. Before, it's it's kind of weird. Now I'm pissed. I ain't getting in your truck. Leave me alone. I had these walking sticks. I was jabbing the truck. Get out of here. Get out of here. And it's I'm not getting in your truck. Get in the truck. Get in the truck. Get in the truck. And I looked down at my phone and I finally had one little bar. That's it. I said, I'm going to call the police. I don't know what else to do. So she's screaming, get in the truck, get in the truck. As soon as I say the word police, she just goes, get in the truck. Face goes blank. Now keep in mind this is a middle-aged woman, 50 some years old. Yeah. Think of the movie Misery, the Kathy Bates character. This is it. Her face goes blank, calm, opens her eyes and looks at me and just says, go ahead and call the police. They won't get here in time.
Oh, no. Shoot.
And I literally think, this is it. I don't try to run because there's big fences on either side of the road. I can't run anywhere. I'm just going to stand here and get killed. I literally thought this is my time. Yeah. This is it. She's going to pull out a big revolver, blow a big hole in my chest. That's it. And it was odd how kind of at peace I was, because having that situation, I just knew this is going to happen. There's nothing, there's no escape from this. And I just stood there. But I'd already called 911. All of a sudden I hear 911, what's your emergency? And I'm like, oh. I was like, help! Come get me! I said, there's this crazy lady who tried to kidnap me 3 times, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what? Is this grown man calling me? This lady? I was like, yeah, I'm 4 miles outside Menard on 2092. Come get me, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, calm down, sir. So then she picks up screaming, get in the truck, get in the truck, get in the truck. I'm like, can you hear this? Can you hear this? And the dispatcher's like, yeah, I can hear that. Like, come get me. And she's like, all right, someone's on the way. Can you tell me? I was like, yeah, her name's Mary. I have her phone number. She gave it to me before. I was like, silver Ford pickup, 150, got some chrome accessories on the outside. And I walked around the whole time. You could just hear her, get in the truck, get in the truck. I'm trying to walk away. She's like going right with me. She won't stop. I'm like, this is real bad, real bad. I can't imagine like any worse situation for me right now. And I don't think Crazy Mary believed I was on the phone because of where we were. They're known for no reception.
Yeah.
But then I started reading off the license plate. And she took off. Like, oh. I'm standing there like, yeah, like only 4 miles. You guys are in those fast vehicles. Like any moment now. Like she left, but come on. Yo, she's headed your way on this only road. Right. And yeah, it was about 20 minutes later. I kept walking. Then the most stereotypical podunk Smokey and the Bandit fat sheriff shows up. I mean, his neck roll was the size of it was crazy. It's like he walked off some comedy movie set. He's sweaty. He's decked out in his sheriff gear, big old cowboy hat. He rolls down his window and sets his arm out, just kind of moving a little in his recliner chair, what it looked like. He goes, heard you're having some trouble out here. And I was like, yeah, dude, like 20 minutes ago. Where you been? Like, it's 4 miles away. Come on, man. And he just goes, well, we didn't see no on my description while we're going out here. So we'll keep looking though. And I'm thinking, you have her name, her phone number, her license plate. We're in the middle of nowhere. I could understand, hey, we're in Phoenix, we're in New York City, Chicago, Houston. It might be hard to locate a vehicle. I'm thinking, I wanted to say, like, what? Go get her. Like, this is bad. She shouldn't be out here doing this. And he's like, well, we'll keep an eye out. You want to ride into town, son? It's like, no! I'm not getting in anyone's vehicle today. And then he's just like, all right, then. And just goes. And that was it. Never heard anything about it. Never called me. And then it became like a running joke. I'd do Facebook Lives. People get on there and comment like, ooh, I think I saw Crazy Mary in the window. She's coming to get you. But yeah, it was that was quite an experience. Yeah. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. I had other incidents, but nothing that wild. And just, man, you calm down, lady. Yeah. And the fact that it was just this one lady by herself. See, that's it. But what I think what happened is that was such a small town that as soon as I said, yeah, her name's Mary, this is the truck, here's the license plate, that dispatcher looked it up. You know, it's probably the local town nut job. She probably muted the thing, got on the dispatch, like, hey, Bill. Yeah, 10-4, Bill. Hey, we got Mary out there causing a ruckus again. Yeah, 2092. Yeah, we'll give her a couple minutes, have some fun. Then we'll come out there. Nah, yes, sir, Mr. Eli. Someone's on their way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the only explanation. If that happened in any city, they'd go get the person. Yeah. But yeah, no, not there. Totally fine to Yeah, police aren't going to get here in time. It's like, oh, I'm dead. It's nice that you let your mentally handicapped have free roam of this county. Just do whatever they want. But she's obviously. Mary, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're getting help. And I hope I never see you again. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do you deal with water? Like, I'm pretty sure you walk in the desert, right? Or even in like not desert, but how do you do with water? Like when you had those, like earlier you said you had 4 days or whatever.
Yeah.
Of to the next town.
The worst one, there was a stretch in Texas. It was 5 days of walking for the next town. I did have a lot of water on me, so the first couple days sucked carrying that much weight. And then a car did stop and give me a gallon of water. So after I went through that, because I thought I could carry enough water, I was like, oh, I'll ration it out. It's like, oh man, it's hot. Yeah. And I just kept drinking it. And it's like, oh man, I hope I call before that car showed up, I was really worried. Man, there were cars that went by, and I eventually would have been like, hey, someone, or I would have called 911 to get some water. Oh, okay. And that's actually a law in Arizona, I found out. If anywhere, you could live in Phoenix, doesn't matter. If you can call 911 and say, I need water, and they will come with water. All the state troopers have ice cold drinks in their truck. And I met this one trooper, and she's like, yeah, you run out of water, want something cold to drink, just call 911. Yeah. I was like, there's no non-emergency number? She's like, no. She's like, got some right here. She's like, this is what it's for. Yeah. And because it happens so often out there, I was like, oh man. It's like back in Ohio, I called 911 for water. I'm going to jail. That's amazing to me. And but when I knew there was a long stretch in Arizona, I had that cart, so I was able to carry a few gallons with me and have a cooler and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, most times, I just fill up my water bottle. Big fan of Gatorade. Arctic Blast. It's nice. Definitely, I drink that all day. Still to this day, I didn't get sick of it like Snickers bars and stuff like that. I just had an Arctic Blast. Polished it off this morning. Nice. Yeah, love it.
Nice. So now I get it. It makes sense. Back to Mary. When I remember that I told you, oh, you want to go with me to Vegas? You're like, nope. I'm good. I'll just wait for you.
Yep. I'm all good. Yeah. Oh,
okay. Yeah, that's because we were thinking the other day, me and him were like, I wonder how he did it with food, walking, because we were talking about how to pack stuff, when we go camping and stuff for people out there to eat sometimes,
Yeah.
Or, because we had a lot of, here, there's a couple people that got lost here in the desert.
Wow.
Just recently,
yeah.
A week ago,
wow.
They found a dead body out there.
What?
Yeah. Because it got a heat stroke and
whoa.
Yeah, and we were just talking about that. And I was like, I wonder how he does it with water, and food.
Water is definitely the number one most important thing, because without the water, you can't rehydrate your meals. There's special Carnation instant breakfasts that you're supposed to use milk with, but you can use water. But that's a very good nutrient, protein rich, quick drink to do if you don't have time in the morning. I'd drink one of those, mix it up in a water bottle, and have a Snickers bar, granola bar or something. If I was doing well, someone made a nice donation, I'd try to get beef jerky, because that's super light, and I could just eat that going down the road. It's not messy, things like that. But definitely hiking a long distance, you kind of got to treat what I did if you were doing the Appalachian Trail. There's certain posts, certain towns you need to resupply in, all this stuff. It's a lot of work. Much more work doing that kind of logistics with food and water compared to being on a bicycle.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm on a bicycle, I know I'm going to get to the next town.
Yeah.
Even if I break down, I know what to fix, do a flat tire. Like, I don't need to carry food with me. Like, when I leave the hotel room, I'm going to this place for breakfast. Halfway by, I'm going to this place for lunch. So I made sure to not put myself out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
For that reason, and also I can't really raise awareness if I'm going through the middle of nowhere. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
So I always made sure I had a beginning place, a middle of the day place, and an ending place to stop. And if I needed some kind of help or something like that, it'd be readily available.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And shoes. How do you do with shoes? Like,
shoes.
Also wondering, like, right? You ran out of shoes.
I'm on pair 14 now. Even but I went through 11 pairs. I was on 11 pairs of shoes walking. So went through about a pair a month. My personal experience, Brooks was one of the best pairs of shoes I found. They unfortunately don't make the model. Or the model that I used is like Brooks Cascadia 11s, but now they're on like the 15s. So it's kind of designed different and stuff. But the ones I had were Gore-Tex, but could still breathe really well. Also had a couple pair of tennis shoes that did well, but I was getting really tired of my feet getting wet in the rain. So I switched to some like lightweight hiker Gore-Tex ones. They were good. Pricey, but when you are doing heavy walking, hiking, much different than like taking a vehicle to a camp spot, you definitely get what you pay for in hiking equipment. That's why I had to sell everything, because it's like, hey, I need the $200 some backpack. I need the $120 shoes. And people are like, why don't you just get a pair of $50 shoes? It's like, because they are made different, they last different. If you get what you pay for, you're going to spend it cheap. It's you've wasted your money. Especially with REI is a very good place to buy products, because if anything happens to it at any time, 2 years later, you can take it there and they will just replace it. Like, hey, this broke, because they take their prides on the stuff we sell will last. So I had a problem with the backpack, took it back. A pair of shoes I got was just a little too small, and they're like, no problem. They just swapped them out.
Nice.
There was something I didn't need anymore, and it was like nine months ago, and I just took it there. They're like, yeah, no problem. Here's your money back. Because they just resell it at another thing because their products are so great. But so that was a really very expensive. Man. Like tents and stuff. I got real lucky. I went to a place in Denver, and I was like, I'm looking to get a different tent. And they're like, oh man, hold on a second. And they have like a twice a year annual sale called their like garage sale. So all year, like different returns and stuff, they'll keep in the back, and they don't ship it off to a different distribution center. They keep it there. Twice a year, they bring all the returns and stuff out for a sale, and they say, hey. They come out with like this big mic. Well, not big, but it was small, but it turned into big. Made out of like all the latest and greatest space age material. And I recognized that tent just like watching gear reviews and stuff. And they brought this out. They're like, what about this tent? I go, I know exactly what that tent is. I go, unfortunately, I cannot afford that tent. It seems like $700 for a little 2-person tent, which equates to one Eli. Like there's not 2 people getting in this tent. Like that's like, it had enough room for me and my backpack, and that was it. And they were like, oh, and they like looked at the price like, oh, well, this is our garage sale thing. Like, oh, hold on a second. They went in the back, they came back, $39 they had written on it. They're like, here you go, man, just take it to the register. It's like, are you kidding me? They're like, yeah, man, don't worry about it. Like, oh, nice. You guys are awesome. And when this is like, I'll gladly pay $40 for this. I got that, and I still have that tent. It's been used 100 times. Looks brand new. Nice. Not a single thing is broken on it. No rips, no tears. And I mean, I put it through the ringer. And it's just great. So you definitely, if you're thinking about doing a long distance hike with a backpack, there's a fine balance between going like ultralight gear, because those backpacks aren't very supportive. And if you're going on a long distance, you need more weight. So, but then like the pack I have, I built up to like being able to carry so much.
Yeah.
It's like a super expedition, like separate, like a floating frame, and it like hugs your back and contours and stuff. And yeah, I've carried like 60 pounds in that all day, and it feels like you don't have, to me, it felt like I didn't have much on. And that thing's, that's like professional grade backpacks. And yeah, so spend your money on that stuff, for sure. Yeah. Well worth it. You'll be very happy.
Because I was actually thinking of like going around the country, but in the car.
No, there you go. Yeah, you need what's called a blanket and pillow. You probably already have the stuff you need. Yeah. But yeah, that'd be good. I would just time. I'd probably break it up into different sections, because if you went around once, eventually in that time frame, you're going to get in an area with season that you're not going to want to be in. Unless if you left from here. If you left here in like late spring and go north, like up to Montana and stuff through the summer, go in the summer, and then you're coming down through but still, that's one summer you're going to be done.
Yeah.
So you're going to go, you're going to hit Texas in summertime. Yeah, New Mexico in summertime. Here in the summertime, it's not good. So yeah, just like, hey, this summer, I'm going to go up top and go like Glacier National Park, all those places, beautiful up there. Then like fall time, beginning of winter, just go through the south. Wait till hurricane season's over, go up the East Coast. Zigzag through the Midwest. You'd be amazed the cool places you find in the Midwest. And like Utah's beautiful.
Yeah,
I thought it was like
yes,
barren wastelands. Like, dang, this is nice. You ever been to Salt Lake City?
I haven't been to Salt Lake City. No.
Be careful. There's not a piece of trash in that city. It is weird. Then the people are too nice. That's what gives them away. They're way too nice.
Yeah.
Like, man, you're way too happy and nice. Like, just you can turn that down a couple notches. I spent 20 minutes walking around. My whole purpose is I'm going to find a piece of trash. There's got to be a cigarette butt, a gum wrapper, a piece of gum. Nothing.
What?
Not a single minute little micro piece of trash for 20 minutes walking around. Probably walked around like 4 city blocks.
Wait, you go check that out.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And the Mormons with their temples there, the absolute most beautiful buildings and the most immaculately manicured landscaping you've ever seen in your life. It looks fake. It looks like it's made out of candy or something. Every blade is perfect. Their lines are all edged straight. Their flowers, you don't even see like one wilted flower. It's all perfect. But then there's no windows on these temples. So I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like it's just a block, a marble.
Yeah.
Like there's the door, there's the other door. Like that's it. It's like you can't see inside, you can't see out when you're in. It's like, different strokes for different folks. But it was absolutely gorgeous. It was the most impressive. I mean, I've been like botanical gardens and zoos and other things, and like even Walt Disney World has like their little garden things.
Yeah,
it looks like pure garbage compared to these like Mormon temple grounds. It's I could stand there hours and just look at their grass.
Yeah,
never seen anything like it. Yeah, you'd have a good time going around. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. The farthest we've been, it's Baker Dam. So Beaker than Utah, like St. George.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, that's a far.
Yeah.
But it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
We love it. We go camping out there
Oh, cool.
most of the time. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to kind of cut this short, but I think it's getting 11:30 now.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. Yeah.
Any other quick questions I can answer?
No, it's good.
No? Yeah. We'll do another one.
Yeah,
Next time
definitely.
I'm here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But anyone listening can go to Four Corners Hike. That's the number 4 Corners Hike, all one word, on Facebook, Instagram, and all that. But Facebook's the main hub. And shoot me a message and follow the journey, and definitely keep listening to these guys and their podcast.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And yep, it's it was so exciting, you know.
Yeah,
we were excited. We were excited. You know?
Yeah. Excited
so
for me.
This, yeah,
Awesome.
And, that's good. It's hopefully, I mean, for sure everybody likes it, and we'll hear you. You can hear it too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.